for the comic books is happening today, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this live chat today is so we can see kind of what stuff will sell for. Um, this is probably like 90% of the stuff, actually more than that. It's like 97% of the stuff that I bought from the comic book collection is up at auction today. And a few of the more expensive books I sent in to get grading. And as you guys probably know from the video I did about the comic books, the one potentially very expensive book I've agreed to give the fellow half of whatever that sells for, but we have to get it back from CGC and get it graded, and then that'll go probably to a bigger auction house in the US. And it might not be worth as much as I was hoping for, but it'll be worth a fair bit of money, I think. So whatever it is, we'll figure that out. But today, it's all about the stuff that I bought and the sales of the comics, and we'll see what things go for. And also, we'll do a little bit of chat while we're here too, because that's always fun. So very soon we're going to get going here. The auction should be starting in just a few minutes, and I'll flip the camera around like I usually do and show you what the live results are. Part of the reason I do this too is that so you guys at home watching will get an idea, a sense of what things are selling for, at least in the Canadian market. The prices shown on the screen today will be in Canadian funds. You can, if you're logging on and you're bidding from home, this auction is about to happen live. If you're with me right this second at kauctions.ca, you can log in there and you can watch it live yourself. You can switch the currency over to whatever your local currency is to see what things sell for. And if you like comics or want some cool gifts, you can always buy some stuff too if it's still in time for Christmas. Mind you, in Canada here, our Canada Post is shut down for a labor dispute. So I don't think that they ship Canada Post anyway. I think these guys have other ways that they ship and do their deliveries. I think Castner should be able to get this stuff out to people hopefully relatively fast. But by the way, those are questions you can ask the auction house if you decide to sign up. Top of the morning to you, Dolly. Dolly says top of the morning to you. She said, hello, governor. I imagine in her Cockney accent. Anna Hutchinson, hello back at you. This was a really cool lot. I don't have a very big comic book collection. I think I've got maybe only 3 or 4 comics. They're good ones, but I've got 3 or 4 comics myself. But there are people out there who have thousands and thousands and thousands of comics and they're really into it. And the thing to understand about comic book collecting is that it's like modern day folklore or mythology almost. And some of these stories that have ingrained themselves in pop culture, especially like Spider-Man and stuff, there's certain plot points and twists and character development that happens throughout a run of a series of comic books. And those particular books, they call them key issues because something important or bit happens. All right, are we back? Hopefully we're back. Okay, you guys let me know if you guys can see everything okay here. I still have, I'm just gonna roll over this way. I have a few comics that I didn't put in the auction that I'm just trying to figure out whether I should ship them out or not. So there's this early Mysterio, Spider-Man, The Beast, very first, Iron Fist, origin issue. So there's a few in here. I think this Jimmy Olsen has the first Dark Side in it. I can't remember if it's that one or another one. But anyway, I kept back a few books that I've got to kind of go through myself, you know, things where there was plot development. Oh, there's the first Conan the Barbarian. Anyway, so I've got a few extras here that I'll eventually figure out. I probably should have sent that one in. Anyway, Moon Knight. All these characters and these key issues are pretty good, pretty cool. And today we sell a whole bunch of books. So I'm going to flip the camera around, even though the auction hasn't quite started yet, because I want to get this sort of set up here so that we've got a good view of what's happening on the screen. And again, this auction is happening at kauctions.ca, and you can log in and place some bids. And the first book up here, well, that one, I don't even know bids yet on it, $5 on that. Venom team. So some of these are, you know, like the first issues or first appearance, Devilance, Forever Comic, first appearance, The $1 Billion Man. So there are some good key issues going through. I'm being told that the image is freeing up, and I apologize. we'll just plug away at it here. I know that when we do these live streams, sometimes there can be a little bit of connection issues. So hopefully it'll resolve itself. The website that we're on is kauctions.ca, bidlive.kauctions.ca. Then what you're going to do is look for the comic book sale. So if you're at home right now and you want to do that, you can log in and you can see that the sale is there. And if you, the auction has not started as of right this second, so you can log in and still place bids if you want to. There are 460 lots, something like that in this auction. So a lot of stuff going through. And keep in mind that there's also a fair number of boxes that are just completely packed full. There's also some antiques and some collectibles that are in the mix here as well. But there are a ton of cases where I was getting kind of exhausted with the sorting. And so what I would do is I would just grab a box and fill it full of comics and just run it through. And some of them are quite old, 1960s, 70s kind of comics. So there's a lot of boxes that are just full of comic books in here, probably like hundreds of comics in some of them. In fact, there are some long boxes where there's probably many hundreds of comics in them. And there's some good stuff, some cool stuff. So I think some good grab bag boxes full of cool things. There's a lot of good individual books in here, and then some antiques and collectibles in the mix just to kind of keep things interesting. And yeah, so if you're a comic book collector, there's the very first She-Hulk comic. That's a good head of hair. Look at that. She must be using some good shampoo. The Flash comic book. That's when they kind of relaunched it. And yeah, so lots of stuff going through today. Hope you guys have all been well. I'm going to give you my old man tirade this morning. Not tirade, but yesterday I went in for an appointment for my back, and they did the cortisone shots in my spine. And yeah, so actually today my back's feeling pretty good. It's a weird feeling. I said to my wife yesterday, it's almost like I got injected with some kind of like a spider bite, from a comic book, and you can feel it flowing through your body. When they injected the stuff into my spine, I could kind of feel like electricity going all through my body. And I woke up this morning and my back feels probably the best it's felt in years. So I hope this lasts, and I hope it stays for a while. I don't know if anybody out there, I'll flip this back around since we're still waiting. I don't know if anybody at home has ever had that done, if you've ever had injections in your back for when your nerves are having a little damage, as mine do. But gosh, I know they said be careful with the injections. So far, so good. So far, it feels pretty good. Cortisone or numbing agents or whatever they put in there. Yeah, core exercises would help for sure. That's what Shadow Boxer Clip says. Core exercises would help. It was a little challenging to get started on the core exercises with my back being, my disc being slipped out the way it was. But, oh, looks like things are going here. There we go. So the first one is up. Venom comic book #1 with Punisher. And they had a lot of #1. Sometimes they do these little mini series of books, and this is one of those. But there we go. It is a nice team up. It's got, interesting cover art on it with Venom and Punisher both in the same thing. $5.50 is the bid on that guy right now with 8 seconds remaining. Let's see if it climbs a little bit more. And as we go through, some of these are going to be very reasonable. Some of them are going to go a little bit higher because that's just the way it works based on how many were made. And no, I didn't read any of these books. The last thing I want to do, they're all in really nice shape, and I didn't want to give any crinkles on the spines or do anything like that. So I didn't really even open the covers on them. I just very carefully took them out of the box, slipped them into these holders, and they're going to go off to a new home. But the condition was quite good. The fellow I bought this from was a mature gentleman, and he bought these from when he was a young man or a young guy all the way up until not that long ago. And so most of them were in really nicely kept condition where he was collecting them from a young age. So they weren't trashed or destroyed, which is really great to get some in great condition. So here we go. First few are selling around $5.50 for some of these first books here. And that's to be expected. We'll see if the comic book people locally or the comic book people are going to log in and place some bids. But for those people that are also filling about the filling out their collections and maybe missing some numbers or trying to complete runs. There should be some good stuff in here for lots of people. Hey Alex, you should take that Kaiser over to Scott at Cold War Motors. He'd get a real kick from it. I actually wrote Scott, Ian, and I said, hey, know anybody who needs a Kaiser? I do like the car. I have too many red cars for starters. That's a problem. But I thought if I got an older car like that, it would be more of a 30s car if I changed up the fleet a little bit. I don't know, I'll have to give it some consideration. I really do actually like the car, and there's nothing really wrong with it. In fact, it would be very hard to replace it. Oh, here you go. Commandy, the last boy on earth comic, #1. This one's at $40 right now. 14 seconds remaining. Will we get to $45? $40, the current bid on Commandy, the last boy on earth. A Jack Kirby blockbuster, Jack Kirby classic comic book artist and writer. Off it went, $40. And here's another one here. #2, it's the second issue, $5 a bit on that. The expensive book that I got, the one that I said I'd split the profits on, is essentially this Venom #1. But see how it's got that red foil on this? I don't know if you can tell, that's red metallic kind of foil. They made a mistake in the printing, and they printed it in black. They didn't put the foil on it. So I have it was an error issue. That's why it's potentially worth so much. But we have to get it graded first and all that good stuff, and then see what it goes for. But desirable book for folks. Power Man and Iron Fist, their first team up, $17.50, now $20. Looking for $22.50, $20 the current bid on that guy. $22.50 now, looking for $25, now $30. $30 looking for $35. $30 a bid right now, now $35, now $40. Looking for $45, $40 a bid. First comic book where they teamed up. It's an early 35-cent cover. There we go, $45, looking for $50. I am not the one who makes the minimum amount. $50 bid now. The auction house puts the minimums in. I think pretty much everything starts at $5, and it just goes for whatever it goes for. It's a risk with an auction. It'll sell for whatever it sells for. $60 a bid now on the Power Man and Iron Fist team up. $60, looking for $70 now. Jumping up $10 increments once it gets past $50. $60, last call, seconds remaining. Seconds remaining on it, off it goes. Here we go, Venom comic issue #1. Really nice condition, foil cover, $40, now $45. $45, looking for $50. Now, this is a case where a person could send this in to get graded, and it might potentially be worth a lot more if it comes back with a high grade. And this one very well may, because like I said, this fellow bought these brand new and just put them right into a box. And so a lot of them are very much fresh off the rack in pristine condition. Marvel Luke Cage Power Man comic 19. It's a key issue comic, $7.50, now $15, now then $10, then $15, now $17.50. Looking for $20, $17.50 on the Power Man with the introduction of the Cottonmouth character. $17.50. Looking for $20. 10 seconds remaining on this guy. $17.50. Where are we gonna be? $17.50. Let's see if it gets up to $20. They've got last call on it right now. And there are quite a number of good early 60s and early 70s Spider-Man comics in the mix too. 15-cent cover, 12-cent cover. So check out the sale later on. Luke Cage Power Man, first appearance of Goliath. It jumped up to $25 here in the last couple of seconds while I was talking. The black cover Venom was not a newsstand issue. Unfortunately, it was a direct copy, so it's not going to be worth quite as much, but it's still a good book. And it's in really nice shape. $40 a bid right now on that, now $45. $45 bid, looking for $50. $45, now $50. $50 looking for $60. $50 a bid right now, looking for $60. Incidentally, this time of year is probably the best time of year to do toys, collectibles, comic book sale, because it's Christmas time. And in Canada, where it looks like that outside, we are doing our indoor activities in winter climates, which is a lot of collecting and looking for stuff to do around the house. And so it's a good time to do an auction like this. $20 a bid on the Power Man comic #48, the first Iron Fist battle. So another key issue comic book here, bid to $20. Yeah, I'm 25 now bid. We are very fortunate to have a great view all around our house. To wake up in the morning and look out, we get to see nature. Look at that. That's from my office window. I get to just look out and see a beautiful sight every time I look out that window. I am very fortunate, very grateful to live out in the country. $35 a bid right now on the Power Mac. Now 40, looking for 45. $40 a bid now, looking for 45. I am certain that we will get our money back from these comics, and the mission isn't just to get our money back; it's to make money, and I think we'll be fine. I was kind of doing a rough tally this morning, and I think that even with the auction commission they're going to take off, we'll be more than fine. Marcus Muse says, snow. It never snows here. Where are you, Marcus? Where are you that it never snows? Cheryl says she's got 2 steel rods and 3 screws in her back. That doesn't sound like much fun. Feel your pain. Well, I think you feel your pain. I don't have pain like you have. That's for darn sure. I just have a herniated discs in my back, and that can be a little, let's just say, a little uncomfortable when it slips out. Frankly, nearly paralyzing when it slips out. So I've been waiting a long time to get this procedure, to get these injections in my back, and honestly, as of today, I feel pretty darn good. I just have to remember that my back is not healed. I just can't feel that I'm injured, so I don't want to overdo it. Vox says I have 2 titanium rods in my neck. Not sure how many screws they put in. So when you go through a metal detector, Vox, does it go off? Like if you're at the airport, do they scan your neck and it beep, 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 beep? It must. Just Brandy says, I'm near Houston. If it snows here, the whole city shuts down. I don't think we really ever shut down. It could be 3 feet of snow all over the roads, and there will still be people going into work here. The schools never, our poor kids, they never get a snow day. X-Men comic issue number 1. This is from the reboot. Nice condition, $10 have been on that. Oh, they said no, the metal detector doesn't set off the titanium. Oh, okay, good to know. $10 the bid on that. $12.50 is what they're looking for. Last call at $10 the bid. Will it get up to $12.50 off? It goes for $10. See, there's some good deals here on some comics. You can get some good vintage comic books for $5-10 today. And then if you want some real special ones, well, heck, throw your name in the hat. Marvel Warlock in the Infinity Watch, number 1. $5.50 the bid on that guy. And by the way, thank you to everybody who has been watching the channel. I'm not sure how many years you guys have been with us, but certainly appreciate everybody who watches the channel and sticks with me on these sort of adventures. I think the goal of I was trying to think about what the goal of my channel is, and I think it's just to show people that there are opportunities when you're buying and selling to find things and to resell. Also, it's pretty satisfying when we do the house clearouts to see a house that was completely full get emptied out and get moved along. So I really enjoy what I do, and I basically just make my living off of whatever margins we can pull out of buying and selling. And it's nice to be independent. I've told my wife, and I've told people before, I feel like I exited society when I started the YouTube channel and the business 8-9 years ago, that I don't have a boss, and I don't have a paycheck or benefits or things, but being self-sufficient is not so bad. It's a nice thing. Punisher Comic 10 featuring Daredevil. Great cover art on that guy. $10 the bid. Looking for $12.50. It looks like this person out in Vancouver, British Columbia, is going to have a good stack of comics going their way. That's right. And by the way, if you buy multiple items, they will just group it together and ship it as one lot. So it'll save shipping by buying. The more you buy, the more you save. Does that make sense? Probably not, but let's go with it. Tanika says, I found your channel about a month ago. Catching up. Well, Tanika, you've got a lot of episodes to go through. I don't even know how many episodes I have. I don't know why my voice went high just then. Maybe I'm really excited about it. But I know that I've got thousands, probably over 1,000. I must have over 1,000 videos out. Some better than others. But I'd like to think all engaging. But yeah, been doing this a while. And finding all kinds of neat stuff. This December, there's a ton of videos coming out. In fact, I think I've got a video coming out later today at 1 o'clock. Oh, here he goes. Amazing Spider-Man, the Jackal reveal. Another key issue, 40, now 45, looking for 50. Key issue of the Jackal revealed at last, $50 bid on this guy. And that's the value when you get a key comic, a key issue, now 60 looking for 70, $60 bid looking for 70. When you get a key issue like this, you are bound to get some collectors out there who are trying to collect maybe all the Spider-Man keys, or they're collecting the whole set, or they're looking for books in good condition, which these are. So a lot of people, $70 bid, now 80, now 80, now looking for 90, $80 bid, looking for 90, $80 a bid on this guy, looking for $90. We got 10 seconds remaining. Let's see. Is it going to be a battle to the end? Will this person in BC get it? I don't know. We'll find out together. And this is why it's important to go through when you have comics, to go through the boxes and try and figure out which ones the key are, because the book before or after that might have only been worth $5, and you get one in the middle worth 70 or 80. All because of what's happening in the storyline. This is the first appearance of the Gwen Stacy clone, 25-cent Spider-Man comic. So it's another key issue because it's got a first appearance in it. $35 the bid, now 40. Looking for 45. $40 bid, looking for 45. 45 bid, now looking for 50. $50 bid, now looking for 60. 60 bid. Will we get to 70? $60 a bid right now, looking for $70. 15 seconds left on this. Gwen Stacy, famously Peter Parker's girlfriend that died in one of the issues, a clone reappeared, and this is that issue. 70, now 80. 80, looking for 90. $80 bid right now, looking for 90. $80 bid right now. Will it get to $90? Yeah, and it could be that somebody might have a store, and they know very well that if you send some of these books in and get them graded, it could, 10 times the value of a book. And the reason I didn't do it is I just picked select ones to send in to get graded. I don't mind leaving a little meat on the bone for the next person either, which is what we sell at auction, wholesale stuff out to other dealers all the time. You've heard me say it before, I'd rather make a quick nickel than a slow dime. And that's what we're doing here today. Amazing Spider-Man number 162, the first appearance of the character Jigsaw. Another key issue comic right there. Punisher on the cover as well. $35 a bid, looking for 40. 35 bid, looking for $40. Nice cover art. You got Punisher. You got a first appearance of a character. You got Spider-Man. Condition is very nice on these books, and it's a newsstand issue, which means it's got the barcode. $35 a bid, looking for 40. Will it get there? Last call. 35 bid. 35 bid, off it goes. So the Warlord comic number 1, Enter the Lost World of the Warlord, $10 bid on that. I did put in, I did separate some of the number 1, the first issue books out here, because they're always nice to have. The first is generally an origin issue. It's generally builds the plot. Like when you watch superhero movies, isn't the first movie always kind of the best one? And then they do the sequels and you're like, yeah, they're all right. But the first one is always good. Like the first Iron Man movie, that was amazing. And the other ones were okay too. But the first one, it's like, wow, he had to build himself in a cave in the middle of the desert. That's pretty awesome. The Punisher comic number 1, $15 bid. The other books that went off for grading other than the Venom variant, I'm trying to remember which ones. There was a few good ones. There was a few good books, like first appearance of the characters and stuff. I can't remember which ones. Basically, the ones that I sent in for grading had to be potentially very high value books, and they had to be in very good condition. So I looked to make sure the spines didn't have a bunch of rolls or issues with it. That's why I didn't bother sending in my some of the books I have sitting here, because although they're good comic books, like Conan the Barbarian number 1, the condition wasn't great. So I didn't think it was worth me sending in. And I guess I'll find out. I got in touch with CGC yesterday. They got the books. I was worried because we're having a postal strike here, which I kind of mentioned in the beginning. We've had almost a month of no mail delivery in Canada. For those people at home that didn't know that, our postal system went on strike almost 4 weeks ago now. And yeah, no mail. So kind of sucks. Not to use mail for a lot of stuff, but I know I am waiting on certain parcels to come that are held up. We had Christmas presents that might not make it for Christmas now. I always seem to pick the worst. I know it's an advantage to them to pick this time of year, but boy, is it annoying. So I phoned CGC to make sure they got the parcel, because I shipped it before the strike, and yes, they did. Thank goodness. And they're going to send it back FedEx, so I should be okay. Crisis 7, The Death of Supergirl is a key issue. Supergirl kicks the bucket. Superman did not look happy about it. Marvel Secret Wars comic number 1. Oh, one of the books that I sent in for grading was the first appearance of Deadpool, which was in New Mutants comic. That's potentially a very good one as well. and it looked like it was, you know, like an 8 out of 10 or something. It looked really, really good. So I'm hoping it comes back with a good solid grade, but I'm not a professional grader, but I sure hope that it was. Oh yeah, and the United States won't even, if you went to the post office in America, in the United States that is, and you wanted to ship something to Canada, you can't even do it. You can't even ship it. And Johnny says, no mail means no bills. Yeah, unfortunately, we're signed up for all of our bills electronically. So they're getting their money, which is okay. $45 a bid right now, went from 35 to 40, 40 to 45. Now looking for $50 on the Marvel Secret Wars #1. Again, a lot of these books are in very nice shape, but I didn't even try and put a grading on it because that would be wrong of me to do. New Teen Titan comic #1, first edition. That became a popular kids series on TV. $50, that jumped right up. 35 to 40, 40 to 50. Now looking for $60. $50 a bid right now, looking for 60. $50 the bid. And yeah, absolutely, it looks like we probably got some collectors or maybe some other stores that are bidding right now too. So Kastner uses a courier company. They don't use Canada Post. They'll use, it's a different courier, so they'll probably figure it out. $20 a bid. What If Spider-Man comic #7. So that's, this one kind of presupposes what if somebody else got Spider-Man's powers. What if somebody other than Spider-Man had been bitten by the radioactive spider? Then it goes through those stories and talks about it. Probably a fun book to read. $22.50 the bid on that. Looking for $25. $22.50 is the bid. $22.50 last call. Off it goes. Here's Amazing Spider-Man Evolutionary War. It's an annual issue. 64 pages, guest starring the Daredevil. Man Without Fear. $5.50 a bid on that. Now 6. Now, we're kind of going through these, and I know that some of you, I assume that if you're logged on and watching this auction, you have some interest in either buying and selling or comics, or maybe you just want to chat back and forth a little bit, and that's fine too. Jeffrey Peterson says, are most of your viewers from Canada? No, in fact, the great majority of my viewers are from the United States, which is why in some cases I will say prices on my channel in US funds so that they have an idea. So if I buy an old car, I'll try and give what the American equivalent is because I think the breakdown is 70% of my viewers are probably in the United States, with another 10 or 12% in Canada. Lower, considering I'm Canadian, most people that watch are in the US, but the population's much higher in the US. And then UK, United Kingdom, is my third highest country that watches. So hello out there to our United K residents. And I do see some folks, yes, of course, from the Netherlands, and we do have some good engagement, but for whatever reason, the majority of the people that watch are in the United States. So if you ever watch my channel and I'm mentioning prices in US funds, it's because I know that the majority of people watching are probably gonna have interest in what their local currency is. Amazing Spider-Man is now up to $35 for the first appearance of Speedball. Looking for 40. It's a slow climb, but if I can make $5 every 10 seconds, that's not so bad. That's a good wage, right? $5 every 10 or 15 seconds, I'd be cool with that. Off it goes. Amazing Spider-Man, #131 from 1974. Great cover art on that guy. It's the Doc Ock is marrying his aunt. Aunt May is marrying Dr. Octopus. She might find, maybe she likes the fact he's all hands, Peter. Maybe there's some advantages to marrying a man who's part octopus. I don't know. I won't go there. $40 a bid on that right now. Looking for 45. She looks like she's happy. Oh, we have Jonas in Ukraine. Well, hello. Привет, my Ukrainian friend. I still, eventually, when things settle down over there, I would love to go to Ukraine and visit. It's spelt as Galicia. I don't know if that's how you actually say it in Ukraine, but that's where my mom's side of the family is from. New subscriber trying to catch up. How did you do on those die-cast cars? Hope you did well. I wonder which die-cast cars we were talking about. I wonder what video that was. If I did buy a big collection of die-cast cars a while ago, if that's the episode you're talking about, we did okay on all that. I bought an awful lot off the fellow. Actually, he had even more. I should get in touch with him and see. He had a really cool dune buggy as well. and he didn't want to sell it, like a real dune buggy, like a Myers Manx from the 60s sitting in his barn. And I was trying to see if I could make a deal on that, but he wasn't ready to let that go. Venom comic number 1. This is a glowing edition, so the white of the eyes and the teeth is glow in the dark. So one of those funky 90s kind of things. Power Man comic number 49. This is another key issue comic. It looks like it's Iron Fist battle as well. $6, now $6.50, now $7. Will it get up to $7.50? Yes, it did. Now $10. $12.50. It's climbing. It's getting there. $15 the bid on that guy. Now $17.50. For me, now $20. For me, I prefer the earlier comic book art, like the 1950s, 60s, early 70s sort of comic book art, like the Silver Age art of comics. It's not as dark or brooding. It's more cartoony, more pop art. And I always was a fan of Roy Lichtenstein, which is very much that kind of ilk, that 60s, 70s Silver Age kind of artwork that he does. In fact, Lichtenstein was dared by his daughter, I think, I bet you can't paint a painting that looks as good as this comic book. And so he did the cover of one of her romance comic books, and that kind of got him started and became a pretty major artist. Eventually evolved into doing different things, but yeah, pop art. 15-cent Conan the Barbarian number 9, $22.50 the bid on that guy. Always been a fan of pop art. Warhol, Lichtenstein, all that good stuff. So maybe that's why I like the early comic book art the best. But that's just me. Death of the Goblin. Spider-Man number 200. And you know that when they do a monumental issue like that, like number 100, number 200, number 300, you're typically going to see something fairly major happen in the book series. $10 a bit on that guy. Last call, off it goes. Here's Amazing Spider-Man number 375, Spider-Man fighting Venom, and it's got this gold kind of foil cover. 30th anniversary of Spider-Man number 375, $17.50, now $20. Looking for $22.50. $20 a bit on that guy. I'll try and read some of the comments as we go here too. Sorry, I'm also looking at the screen and kind of watching what's happening. And hope you guys are all doing well today, keeping warm. We've had pretty good weather. I couldn't tell you if that last one was a McFarlane cover. I probably should have noted if it was, but Todd McFarlane did do a number of the covers around this time. $35 the bid on the Amazing Spider-Man second appearance of Carnage. $40 the bid. Of course, Carnage being the other Venom-y type character. $45 a bid, now looking for $50, $45 bid. $45 a bid on that guy. As a Canadian, I think you represent Canada well. Oh, thanks. I mean, I don't know. I grew up here. I do feel connected to the United States as well because my family did live in, not my dad, but my ancestors lived in the United States for a number of years, as well as England. And I have a brother and sister in Colorado, so I feel like kind of a universal citizen in a sense. That's the nice thing about kind of knowing your genealogy and your background is that, you know, you run into people from all over the place and you go, yeah, I had a great-great-grandpa who was, that's the thing, my mom's side, Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, my dad's side, pretty much all the other European stuff, French and English and Scottish, and you just go through your family tree and you go, wow, I guess, you know, kind of a big melting pot of everything. Yeah, this one person bidding out in BC is going to have a good truckload of stuff, but that's good. They're being smart because it'll be a big combined shipment, which will end up ultimately being cheaper for them than if you just bought, you know, a couple things here or there. May as well load up. Amazing Spider-Man number 282, another key issue book. And you've got the black suit Spider-Man on the cover, $20 a bit on that guy, now $22.50. At the time, they were just sort of introducing this new Spider-Man suit to kind of soup up the series, and then they decided to make it into this Venom symbiotic kind of alien. But initially, it was just a black suit. And and then they developed this whole Venom subplot, which obviously became very popular. Werewolf by Night, very popular series. In fact, I think I've got a box of full of these later on in the sale too. Werewolf by Night comic number 4, $70 bid on that guy. $80 now bid. Now 90. I think at $90, this is the highest priced book. At 100, this is definitely the highest priced book that we've had go through. 110. 110. Secret Wars 8 is a Black Suits. Yeah, we do have that coming up later on. You're absolutely right. $110 a bit on Werewolf by Night. I'm going to stick through it until we get to some of the slightly better books, I think, because I think you guys will find it interesting to see what some of this stuff sells for, and perhaps inspire some of you to dig through your basements and attics and so forth and look for your own comic books. Here you go. Amazing Spider-Man number 161 with the Nightcrawler battle. And oh yeah, it also has the Punisher as a guest appearance in this one too. $22.50. How much did I pay per piece? Like $1 or $2, Pablo says. I paid $3,000 for all of it. I have no idea how many comics were actually in all those boxes. It probably worked out to $1 or $2 a piece, but I had to buy everything sight unseen, not knowing what was in the boxes. It was just, here is a giant room full of comics, and you got to take everything, and here's the price. Matthew's correct. I do have a Whatnot account, but I typically don't sell on it. I mainly sell through this local auction house, which ships all over the world. The reason for that is when I do an auction, I am typically selling 400 or 500 to up to 1,000 items at a time. And the logistics of doing Whatnot with that many items would be a bit daunting. I'm fairly busy, as I'm sure lots of people are, and I'm not saying people aren't, but to try and take the time out of my day to go and ship off 1,000 things would be a little challenging. Amazing Spider-Man number 172, $10 a bit on this. And I don't know if this David98 person is watching the live stream now, but thank you for being so engaged, as everybody is engaged on this auction, bidding on the comic books right now. The nice thing about collecting comics is they really don't take up a whole lot of space. I mean, unless you have thousands and thousands of them, but you could have 1,000 comics in one box. Things like comic books or collecting jewelry and stuff don't take up a whole lot of room. Not like if you have an Anvil collection. Or I do know a guy that has a collection of gas pumps, and he has to have a whole warehouse to keep his gas pump collection in. Marcus says, I have like 5 boxes. We might have some gems in there, Marcus. You're going to have to go through. Amazing Spider-Man number 169. And it is $22.50. That is where J. Jonah Jameson, look, he looks evil on that picture, is going to out Peter Parker as Spider-Man. 25, now 30. 30 the bid. What a terrible boss in person J. Jonah Jameson was. I think in the, what's the actor's name that played J. Jonah Jameson in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man? That guy was like the best. I can't imagine them casting him any better than that guy. Somebody out there watching is going to put the name up here, and I'll appreciate it because I can't think of it offhand. But he's been in a lot of other movies too. Good actor. He was in the movie about the kid who was a drummer too. I can't remember. Gosh, I'm having mental problems this morning. Maybe I'm having mental problems most mornings. Amazing Spider-Man number 167. The bid on this guy is $22.50. Now looking for 25, $22.50 the bid on that. $22.50. Last call. Off it goes. Marvel Spider-Man team up with Red Sonja. So it's, I think, the first time they might have done a team up with the Red Sonja character. $15 the bid on that. Now $17.50. See if it gets up to 20. He was in Oz on HBO. Yeah, great actor. What's the J.K. Simmons? Yeah, that's the guy. I think he was in The Men at Stare at Goats too, and some other stuff, and in Juno. Yeah, good actor, but excellent casting choice for J. Jonah Jameson on him. He pretty much is that guy. He's a great character actor. I watched. I can't remember the name of the movie now, but it was him and Tom Hanks, and they were trying to swindle this old. They were trying to use this old lady's house to get into rob a bank or something, and he played a stunt coordinator on that, turned kind of a bank robber type guy, and yeah, just appreciate his versatility. Yeah, I did say goats. It was called, there was a movie called The Men Who Stare at Goats, I think. I think, was he in that one? I can't remember. Anyway, no, George Clooney was in it. Marvel Spider-Man team up with Hulk. I love to see. Look at the artwork. It's so cool. You got Hulk there, smashes his way through. Spider-Man kind of going, "We'll get out of here." I'll mind you, Spider-Man might be worried about his armpit smell. Well, thank you very much for the super chat there, Pablo. Appreciate that. $12.50 the bid on the Incredible Hulk. It was a lot of fun going through the comics. I mean, aside from buying the comic book collection, I did also have to go out and buy all the boards, the backs, and the plastic and stuff like that, and just to kind of keep them protected. But yeah, I think some people are going to get some nice books here. 45 the bid on this guy, Amazing Spider-Man number 107, Trapped by the Tentacles of Death. So another key issue here. 45 the bid on that guy. And hopefully everybody out there is thinking about, oh, there we go. Another bid went up to $50 just all of a sudden. $50 bid. It's now 60. It's climbing. I took my eye off the ball for a minute and it started to jump up on us there. 60 bid. Now looking for 70, $60 a bid. Looking for 70, $60 is the bid. 20-cent book. It's an early Spider-Man. Number 107, you start getting into that like first 100 or so Spider-Man comics. A lot of key issues and plot things going on there. Oh yeah, the Daughters of the Dragon team up with Spider-Man. That was another key issue. $5 now $6. Looking for $6.50. I'm very grateful to have the auction be as kind as they are to me to take care of me and offer space for me to store stuff. Look at that jump. It just ran up to $17.50 while I was talking. The other reason I use this auction house is, frankly, the owner is a very nice man. And when you have a nice person who's running a business, it's a lot easier to do business with them. And the staff there is great, and they run a good show. And although it's difficult sometimes with an auction house to make everybody happy, they're pretty good. $15 a bit on this guy. In lieu of me having a storefront, which I did have before, if you're kind of new to the channel, I had a store for a number of years, and you go back through my episodes, you can watch me dream about this store and then open it, and then I opened in a new location, and then COVID hit, and I kind of got bummed out, and I decided to close it. Don't know if I'll go back to doing a storefront because it's nice not having the overhead. I'll be honest, the taxes have been terrible in the city of Edmonton, property taxes. So this is probably a better way of doing it. And I know a lot of people have agreed with me and said, you know what, nowadays there's probably no point even having a storefront. You just do your sales like this and warehouse it at an auction and off it goes. Matthew says, I miss the store. And there's certainly things I miss about the store, yes. It was great for socializing, and it was a great experience, and we had lots of neat stuff. And a part of me does miss it, but I also love the fact that I've got the freedom to move around and do stuff and travel and go explore, and I don't have to worry about opening and closing every day. $60 the bid on this guy, Amazing Spider-Man, number 109. 60 the bid right now, looking for 70. $60 a bid on this guy. Maybe you could do some events for socializing. Yeah, I probably should. I've been going a little nuts lately, actually, because I do, if you notice in my videos, I do a lot of stuff kind of on my own. Whether I'm emptying buildings out or some, I mean, the wife and kids will come and friends will come when I do a big clear out. But for the most part, it's mostly just me. And there's something to be said about having customers, friends, coworkers, all that kind of stuff where you feel like you're a little bit more connected. So I don't know. I've got some decisions to make this coming year. So we'll see what happens. $50 a bit on number 111, Spider-Man. Introducing Kraven the Hunter. So first appearance of Kraven the Hunter, $60 bid. Boy, they swooped in there last minute and got that bid. Now 70, looking for 80, $70 bid. Now looking for 80 seconds remaining. We got 11 seconds left. Will it go to David in Vancouver? Will it go to somebody else? The Spider-Man number 111. Introduction of Kraven the Hunter, so first appearance. And these are the sort of books you'd want to speculate on and hang on to for a while, because you never know when they're going to get picked up and made a movie out of them. 20, 22.50, now 25, then 30, now looking for 35. 35, now looking for 40, now 40, looking for 45, 40, looking for $45. Amazing Spider-Man number 106. Squash goes a spider, revealed the face of Peter Parker. $45 bid, now looking for 50. 45 bid, now 50. now 60, looking for 70. Yeah, Mart's Garage says, Alex, I think David's too busy to join the chat. Yeah, I don't want him to be distracted either. You just, David, if you watch this later on, you just keep busy doing your thing there because we appreciate you. Amazing Spider-Man number 106, key issue, $60 a bid, last call, off it goes. There's another key issue. What's going on in this one? You Can't Stop the Big Wheel. So it's introducing a new character, which I don't think they did any much with in terms of the Marvel Universe, but you never know who's going to pop up. $20 a bid on that. Will it get to $22.50? Only time will tell. Today's episode is brought to you by nothing. I don't have a sponsor today. It's brought to you by the love of collecting and comic books. Marvel Silver Surfer comic number 1, sort of the reboot there, $6.50. Now $7.50. Will it get to 10? Treasures, yes. Today's episode is brought to you by The Hunt for Treasures. I am excited to see what happens this coming year. You know, when we get to the end of December, I always kind of like to reflect on what happened in the past year. And then you look at it and go, holy cow, all that happened this past year. And there's a whole year coming up of new adventures that I have no idea where my life is going to go. That is one of the exciting things. This book, by the way, 30, now 35, looking for 40. Black Venom isn't in this auction, Catherine. It has to get graded, and then it'll go to a probably a larger auction house. Mind you, Castor's doing pretty good with this stuff today, too. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen this year. You know, to see what adventures I can go on, what I can find, what I can uncover. Who knows what barns I'll be entering, or basements or attics, or what boxes I'll be opening and what I'll be finding this year. So another year of adventures coming up, guys, and I hope that you'll stick with me because sometimes there's some pretty outstanding things that I seem to find, and I'm always excited to uncover lost gems and treasures that that people want to move along or didn't even know they had sometimes. $35 the bid on that guy. Now 40. Looking for $45 on the Amazing Spider-Man number 156. Now let's see, what are the other books coming up here? Well, the first Aliens comic, that's kind of neat. There's a lot of number 1 issues. Jimmy Olsen number 145, yeah, some good stuff. Amazing Spider-Man number 164, current bid on that is $15. Now $17.50, now $20, now $22.50, now $30, now $35, now $40. Will it get to $45? Currently sitting at $40. $40 a bid, will it get to $45? $40 looking for $45. Now $45, looking for $50, $45 bid, now $50. Now looking for $60, $10 increments past $50, folks. $50 a bid right now, looking for $60, $50 a bid, looking for $60. That one bid might wipe out all the other competition. $60 is what we're looking for. Current bid is $50. On the Spider-Man number 164, $50 a bid. Looking for $60, off it goes. Here we go, Amazing Spider-Man number 176. The current bid on this guy is $15. It is a key issue as well. I probably could have put that in a nicer holder. That plastic got a little wrinkly, but the book itself is nice. $30 a bid, now looking for $35. $35, now $40. Looking for $45. $40 bid, now looking for $45. $40 the bid. Looking for $45. $40 bid. Nice cover art on that. Always Spider-Man, something looming down on Spider-Man from the perspective of the aggressor. How is Spider-Man going to get out of this one? $40 a bid right now. Off it goes. Here's a nice Ghost Rider comic, and it's the first appearance of the Bounty Hunter. $45 a bid on that. Great graphic. Ghost Rider on his motorcycle and his chopper, ripping his way through a wall, it looks like. $70 a bid. Looking for $80, $70 bid. That just shot right up in the last couple seconds. $70 a bid on the Ghost Rider comic book. 35 cents, you start getting back into the 70s when you see a 35-cent cover, and when you see a 15-cent or 12-cent cover, that's typically early 70s to 1960s, and then 10-cent covers are kind of in the 40s and 50s. Here we go. The first Doctor Strange team up. Of course, Doctor Strange, very popular current Marvel character. Benedict Cumberbatch does a great job as Doctor Strange. Again, that first Doctor Strange movie I thought was really quite good. And he's appeared in many other team ups and other movies and stuff since then as that character. But laying the groundwork in that first episode was always nice. Amazing Spider-Man number 195, another key issue comic book here. $17.50 the bid on that. Seconds to go. Oh, Mary says the subscriber count is climbing fast. Yeah, whenever I do those house clear out sort of episodes, it always boosts the channel up. Somebody said to me the other day, well, why don't you do those house clear outs all the time? Well, they don't come up all the time. I wait for them to come sort of naturally. And the other part of it is too that sometimes I get offered those house clear out episodes and the house doesn't have anything in it. Or like somebody just wants me to go clear their garbage out for them and pay them for it. And that's not what I want to do. There has to be some hope for me to get my money back out of it by the things I'm buying in the house and for it to be an interesting series. So there's a combination of things I'm looking for when I'm doing these house clear outs. So Scott says, is there any interest in the Kaiser? Yes, there is. I think I'm going to have to probably, like if I sell within Canada, I can just sell it on a bill of sale. The problem is it's been out of the system for so long that it doesn't even appear in the records for the car. So I'm going to have to get an inspection on it, and it's not impossible. You just re-register it. But if I register it myself, that means I have to insure it and all that stuff, and I don't want my insurance company to think I'm just doing that. They don't like it too much if you just insure a car to sell it. I would want, if I insured it, I would probably drive it for a while. But yeah, it's a good car. I did take it on the highway. Actually, the thing drives fantastic. It is a very smooth driving car with decent power. It is an awesome vehicle. Jim says, got a potential house clear out for you, but it's in the middle of nowhere. Well, Jim, send me the details. CuriosityEdmonton@gmail.com. Jim, you got my number. I think you got my cell phone number too, actually. So drop me a line and we can chat. Incidentally, while I was chatting there, the Alien comic book number 1, the first appearance of the aliens, the key book sold for $80. Marvel Secret Wars number 3, The Crisis Within, $12.50 a bit on that. So some books are going good. Now 15, looking for $17.50. Now $17.50, looking for 20. Now 20, looking for $22.50. Well, thank you to David98 for being such an engaged bidder. I'm going back and looking through, and he is definitely taking control of this auction and getting all the goods. Crisis on Infinite Earth number 1, $5.50 on that guy. Now 6. Sometimes just because it's the very first issue doesn't necessarily mean it's super valuable. In this case, I figured it was probably worth me putting it up separately because it was the first issue. But Spider-Man number 1, yes, that's an expensive comic book. And maybe down the road, some of these will climb too. They're kind of like stocks in a way. You know, you hang on to these things long enough and they just go up and up and up. New Teen Titans Cyborg number 1, $5.50 on that guy. Yes, Shadow Boxer Clips. I also hope the same thing. But that's not for me to worry about. That's for the auction house to worry about. So we'll see what happens there. New Teen Titans comic number 1, $5.50 on that guy. Now 6. I think some of these other books coming up here, like the first number 1 of Predator, the last issue of the She-Hulk, the Jimmy Olsen comic. There's should be some good value coming up in some of these guys. Plus, they've got the Monster Frankenstein number 1. That book was doing good earlier today. So I think we're going to see some good value coming up with some of these books that are going to be coming up for auction in the next few minutes here too. $12.50 bid on the New Teen Titans comic number 1. Will it get to 15? I don't know. I ain't psychic, but I'm hopeful. Will somebody toss down an extra $2.50 to win this book? Let's see. Nope. Secret Wars number 2, $12.50. Looking for 15, $12.50 the bid on that guy. An ominous looking cover. I like that the guy's evil, but he obviously put hair product in his hair to give him that sort of Superman swoop. Like, you wake up, I'm going to be evil and destroy the world, but first, honey, where's my hair gel? Where's the Aquanet? I gotta build the lift in here. I gotta build this hair out. They never show, like, whenever they have like an evil superhero and they have like, they've done their hair. Isn't that weird? I'm going to destroy the universe today, but first, this is where my mind goes, guys. I probably have issues. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. It's a 25-cent comic. $7.50, now 10. $10 a bit on that guy. See, if I got put in charge of making a superhero movie, that's what I would do. I would get into like the minutia of the, like, you know, Doctor Doom going and looking for the perfect type of underarm deodorant or something. I've got a busy day of destroying the universe. Got to make sure I don't sweat through my super suit. $12.50 the bid on that. Funny with all the you never see armpit stains on any of the superhero costumes, which leads me to believe that they either use a really good deodorant or there's maybe a really breathable material that they're building these outfits out of. I don't know. $17.50 the bid, now 20. Looking for $22.50. $20 bid, looking for $22.50. Will it get there? This She-Hulk comic series, did they not do on, was it Disney Plus that they did the She-Hulk, like they rebooted that as a series recently? Anyway, that's the very last issue. Apparently it's tough to find because they didn't issue a whole lot of these. By the time they decided to end this series, they weren't printing a whole pile. $22.50 the bid on that. Now 25. And I think I actually had the full run of 60 of these, from 1 to 60. And I did break it up a little bit because some were worth more than others. $40 bid, now looking for $45. This thing was pretty well mint. I think this would be a high grading book if somebody decided to send it in. $45 the bid on that guy, looking for $50. $45 the bid. Will it get to 50? 10 seconds remaining. $45 a bid on the final issue of She-Hulk. And what she's saying is the "Okay Kids, we had a deal" is in issue number 1. It says buy my comic book or give me all your X-Men or something like that. And it was kind of a throwback to that first issue. There's the very first issue of Predator, Dark Horse comic, issue number 1, $50 a bid on that guy. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't advertise this stuff separately. I was always intending to do an auction sale on it. So somebody said, why didn't this guy just buy all of them? I'm sure I could have struck a deal, but I'm really excited to see what some of the grades come back on the other books and what stuff goes for. That's just jumped from 50 to 60 to 70, off it went. Here's the comic, the first issue of Spawn, which was a pretty popular character, especially through the 90s and 2000s. So 25, now 30, looking for $35 on that. Now 35, looking for 40. The very first Spawn comic book. And there's 2 of them coming up here. So this one's at $40 right now. Cobalt Blues 4. The Venom comic, the black one, is not in this sale. I have to wait for that one to get back from grading, and that will sell separate. So I'll give you guys sort of an update on what that sells for later on. This is the auction for the rest of the stuff. All the other stuff that I didn't send in for grading, but there's a lot of good key issues and a lot of good books. And this auction is live. If you're logged on right now, as 840 of you guys are on here right now. And if you're interested in bidding, you can log into kauctions.ca. And there's still plenty of time to bid. There's still another roughly 400 lots to go. And that's a lot of comics, especially considering that the majority of these lots that are coming up are going to be boxes full of comic books. Oh, gosh. Thousands of comics selling today. Thousands. $40 a bid on this. The last one sold for $50. Let's see if this one gets in the same sort of realm. $45. They're both kind of similar price. So $45 bid on this. This is the last chance. Now $50. Yeah, so far they're tied. But this is the last one that's up for sale. So if somebody wanted the Spawn comic number 1 and they missed the last one, this is their only chance to bid on it. I sent 9 comics in for grading. And those books were key issues that had potentially high value. I think the first appearance of Moon Knight was in there, the first appearance of Deadpool, and the Black Venom. That's 3 of them. I can't remember what the other ones were, but they all had potential to be worth a lot of money, and they were all in really good shape. Those are the ones I sent off. Spider-Man versus Wolverine. It's the the number one. Of course, famously in the last Deadpool movie, they fought the heck out of each other in a minivan. I don't know if anybody saw that movie. $40 a bid on that. 45 now, looking for 50. They weren't as it was Deadpool and Wolverine, not Spider-Man. But yeah, Deadpool versus Wolverine was quite the movie. 45 bid. Will it get to 50? 45 bid. Off it goes. Marvel Dark Hawk comic number 1. It's a key issue comic. $15 a bid on that. So it's the introduction of this Dark Hawk character. Matthew says, I'm wondering what this David guy does is bidding on this stuff. He probably owns a comic book store. And the thing is, if you own a comic book shop and you know what your clients will pay, and if you're willing to send some stuff in to get graded, there is a lot of potential profit. I would say that all of these books I'm selling today aren't in CGC holders, but the minute you have a CGC holder on something, it adds a lot of value. Even if it's just telling you that it's not in great shape, it adds a lot of value. Here's a good one. Marvel Monster of Frankenstein number 1, 60, now 70, now 80, $80, looking for 90, now 90, $90, looking for 100, $90 a bid right now, looking for $100, 90, great. Frankenstein issue, and it's the first appearance of Frankenstein in a Marvel comic book, I believe. $100 the bid on that guy, 100. Monster of Frankenstein. And that's the thing, Frankenstein isn't the monster, Frankenstein's the doctor. This comic book is correct. It's the Monster of Frankenstein. $100 a bid, looking for 110, $100, last call, and off it goes. Amazing Spider-Man number 138. Current bid on this guy is $30. Now 40. Looking for 45. Wow, jumped right up to 60, 45, then 50, then 55, then 60. Now looking for 70, now 70. Looking for $80, $70 a bid right now. Looking for 80, $70. Where are we going to be? Who's going to buy it? $70 a bid, looking for 80. Do we have 10 more dollars being thrown in the batch here? Let's find out. Yeah, Shadow Box Eclipse. Yeah, I'm pleased. Things are going pretty good. I wasn't sure, but today's kind of an overcast day here. It's a little chilly. It's winter time. People are thinking about their collections as they've got more indoor activities to do. And what more fun could you have than adding to your comic book collection? Jim, seriously, send me the info about that place in the middle of nowhere. It might be worthwhile for me. I know it's going to be a bit of a drive and some work, but maybe it's something I can do. $45 a bid on this guy right now, number 137. 45 the bid. 45 the bid, looking for 50. Off it goes. Amazing Spider-Man number 130, Hammerhead issue. Another key comic book here. $20 a bid on this guy. Now $22.50. Somebody says, who buys Turok? Well, I guess we'll find out. That's the next lot coming up, I think, is Turok. Oh, this one's jumping up 45 to 50, now 50, looking for 60, $50 bid. Will it get to 60? $50 a bid on this guy right now, $50 the bid. Looking for $60, $50 currently bid on it. And Shadowboxy, you're probably right. Oh, no, there's no bids on this guy. There's 2 copies of Turok the Dino Hunter number 1. Nobody wanted a Turok, apparently. The Punisher comic number 1, $45 a bid on that guy, now 50. $50 bid, now 60. $60 bid, looking for 70, $60 bid. Now, it's not the first appearance of Punisher. This is number 1 in a series, but 70, now 80. $80 bid, looking for 90. $80 a bid on this guy, looking for $90. $90 bid, 90, looking for 100. $100 bid right now. It is a fight. It's a battle. $100 the bid on the Punisher comic number 1, now 110 bid. We're looking for 120, 110 bid, looking for 120, $110, 120. Is this officially 130? Is this the most expensive comic that's sold so far? I think it might be. 130 the bid, looking for 140, 130 bid. David is not letting anybody get any toys. He's not sharing. He's getting them all. So David, thank you for your bids. 130 is what that went for. $130 on that. Here's Terminator number 1. So the first issue of Terminator in comic book form, $15 the bid. They said rightly so. It's a great book and a limited series. Yeah. There's some good books going here today, guys. $15 a bit on that. Off. Oh, now 20. $20 bid. Let's see if it gets to $22.50. You know, the fun thing about doing this is that when you take a gamble, and quite honestly, it is a bit of a gamble to buy a big lot of comic book sight unseen. I wasn't able to go through any of the boxes. He kind of just said, yeah, they go back some into the 60s, and I collected my whole life, and this is what I want. And I just paid up, and I thought I'm bound to find something in there. And in my head, I always kind of average out, okay, there's 100 or 200 books per box. There's X amount of boxes. That's about 3,000 books. That's like $1 a comic. I should be able to get that back. That's usually how my mind goes. And that's what I liked about Frank on American Pickers, the bundling. It makes sense. Why not bundle? It just completely makes sense to bundle stuff together. You have better chance for profit than if you piece stuff out. That's one thing that always drove me crazy about American Pickers, and I did always like that show, is that they'd be standing in a barn full of everything that's cool, and he would pick up like a bicycle seat and a fender and leave everything else that he could have made money off of. And I'm going, why? You should have just bought it all. But I know there's a bit of predetermined transactions that happen on those sort of shows, but my mind always went there. I appreciated Frank's bundling, because honestly, that's the best way to do it. If somebody is unwilling to take the price you want for something, why not add some other stuff in and get it a little bit closer? And yes, it's very sad that he passed away. He was probably, I think, my preferred character on that show while he was on it. Marvel Longshot comic number 1, $12.50 on this guy. Matthew says big time predetermined. Yeah, that's true. It is true. You know, when you watch a lot of those shows, a lot of the stuff is, they especially those Storage Wars type shows where you're not finding muskets in every storage unit. Trust me, I buy storage units. This is what you're going to find in a storage unit. You're going to find dirty laundry. You're going to find some random food they shoved in a box that's disgusting. Maybe if you dig through enough junk, you'll find a gold ring or something. Certainly not going to find like, a Civil War musket. Who knew this was in here? That just really doesn't happen that often. I'm not saying it's not impossible. There are people who find really good things, but for the most part, those storage units have a lot of junk in them. You can guarantee there's a TV and a mattress in a storage unit, and possibly stashes of drugs. It seems to be a lot of drug paraphernalia and adult paraphernalia in storage units. Yeah, I try not to buy the storage units that have a sofa in it, because I'm like, ugh, a sofa. What am I going to do with that? Secret Wars comic number 10 key issue there, $15 the bid. I haven't found a lot of golf clubs. Maybe the units that I've been buying, they don't have a lot. But yeah, there are sometimes golf clubs in units too. But what I found lately, it's always like box of rando food and stuff. Dirty clothes. I don't know why people store that stuff. Shadowbox just says, why don't they just throw that stuff away instead of paying to store it for 20 years? I wondered the same thing. WMA Beaker says David's getting a great deal on these Secret Wars books. Yeah. There we go. Comic book number 6, key issue, $20 a bid. Will it get to $22.50? Let's find out. Oh, sorry, Tom, were you asking a question about the car? The odd classic car. Oh, yeah, in a storage unit. Sometimes, so I have to tell you guys, I was bidding on a storage unit not that long ago because it had a car under a cover in it, and I thought it looked like the profile of a Porsche 911. And you couldn't see a darn thing because it was just the cover and there was a bunch of boxes piled around it. So I bid pretty high, and then I lost it by one bid. Oh, there's a what if with a nice cover of Spider-Man on it, $6 a bid. Anyway, so I lost the unit by one bid, and the storage unit place calls me up after, like, well, this guy didn't pay for it. Do you want it? And I said, well, I don't know. What's the car? And they said, oh, it's an old Camaro. And I went, With what I bid on the unit, I'm like, no, an old Camaro is probably not. I way would have overpaid for that. So I said, no, you can sell to the next guy. Well, the next guy was way lower on his bids than I was. In fact, I would have bought it at the price he bought it for. Turns out it was an absolutely pristine IROC Z Camaro from about 1987, and all the boxes were full of sports cards, autographs, hockey sticks. I missed out on such a good unit, but it probably would have been the ultimate storage unit, actually. But with what I had bid, it was just a little too high for me to feel comfortable with it. So there are deals out there sometimes in those units, but for the most part, it's a lot of junk. I much prefer, if I can, to go to somebody's house and try and make a deal on some items and do that in person. That's okay. Somebody got a good deal. The story was on that unit with the IROC Z is that the guy had rented the storage unit around 1990. He parked his car in there and put all of his collectibles in there, and then never went back to it, and just had automatically debited from his account for like the next, what, 20, 30 years or something like that. And he passed away. And so they couldn't reach next of kin or anything, so they auctioned the unit off. So in that case, that guy just kept all of his special stuff in that unit and never went back to check on it. So pretty wild, pretty crazy. There's always the risk that if you find a car in a storage unit, it might be stolen or something too. So if that's the case, you don't get to keep it, even though you bought it. If it's a stolen vehicle, the police will come, and sometimes if it's already been paid off with insurance or something, they'll figure something out with you. But there's a little bit of risk with getting a vehicle. Matthew says it's a big gamble of storage use, more so when the storage place sets up units prior to auction. You can't trust places. Yeah, I worry sometimes, like, you know, if a storage unit gets foreclosed. But then again, if the person passed on and nobody's gone through it, that's why you look for the pack storage unit. They're like, nobody took the time to go through this stuff. It looks like there's some collectibles selling, guys. I am probably, gosh, I've been on this for over an hour now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this so far. Incidentally, if you want to continue watching, you can log into kauctions.ca and you can look for the comic book sale, and you can watch this at home yourself as well. As for me, I'm going to go grab some lunch, and I'm going to keep watching this on my phone and kind of keep track of what some of these things are selling for. So who knows? There's some really good books coming up for sale. I guess we'll see what stuff is going to sell for. Matthew, thank you for putting the link in there, the link for the auction in there. Please feel free, go on, bid. There's lots of great stuff. And I'm excited to see what some of the stuff is going to sell for in the next little bit here. So I'll try and update you guys later. Maybe I'll do a post, or we'll do sort of an update. But guys, have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching the live stream so far. This auction's gonna be going on for probably another 3-4 hours. So lots of time for people to go on and place bids and check it out. And I'll try and do an update at the end there too. So guys, thanks again. We'll see you all soon. And as always, bye for now. Bye guys.